The Rochdale Mesh was a project aiming at providing free to end users civic internet access. It was an idea that was thinking outside the box and literally putting the internet outside the box, outside your home, like a wireless signal. It's frictionless to do, it's secure, and it's hopefully low management. Heritage Hackers was a group that was set up in support with Rochdale Council, essentially just to get people engaged with IT and digital skills. But what we found that a lot of people didn't have access to the internet, so we could provide them with resources like Raspberry Pi computers, etc., etc., but they had little access to the internet. So this is where we came up with the Cantenna. So the Cantenna was where we put a USB Wi-Fi wireless adapter inside a Pringles tin, or other products are available, and just to extend the wireless range so they could often connect to public Wi-Fi access. So extending the power of the aerial gave them access to areas of public Wi-Fi, whether it be a shop that's offering free Wi-Fi, or councils or libraries, etc., etc. When we first did this project, obviously we didn't want to buy loads of tins of Pringles, so we actually sourced some products that do exactly the same thing. And they're a lot more efficient than tubes of Pringles and better for your health. And they cost around about £100. But these will actually, the claims will go to about 40 kilometres, but these will actually connect a strong link over about 15 kilometres. We did choose to go with Unify from Ubiquity for a few reasons. The main reason is obviously it's an open source program that runs it, the network manager. So it's open source, so there's no license fees or anything like that. And also, they just give you some really, really useful tools. Like you can design your network at the ISP Design Center. You can check your resources, what you're going to use with the resource calculator. There's lots. There are other vendors, but what we found is that this particular product is best for providing this kind of solution. So we built a backbone. So we've got a 1 gigabit dedicated lease line going into the Pioneers Museum, the site of the first ever co-op shop in the country. And so that beams about from building to building. And at the end of each one of these little bits of backbone, we put public access points on the outsides of buildings. So it broadcasts the SSID of them Wi-Fi networks. So I know that's difficult to see, but essentially we get a network topology, so I can see where each building's connected, etc., etc., and little micro mesh networks connect to the end of those backbone links. Same again, much too small to see because there's so many devices, but essentially we'll see the connectivity quality, the bandwidth usage, the sites visited, the connectivity history, while all taking account of people's personal data. So there's no personal IDs, personal information identifiers, or whatever for people. So we're in compliance with like GDPR, etc. It gives us an overview of a user example. So basic connection data, the experience quality of the Wi-Fi, which access points they connect to, the sites visited, the duration, and it also gives you the ability to excuse me, it also gives you the ability to block people if there's people abusing the system, so on and so on, or constantly trying to hack it and things. So you can actually block IP addresses and even MAC addresses. So the average daily users at the minute is around about 1,410 devices a day within 24 hours. There's much more room for growth. This is still a pilot project rolling out. It's not completed in the estates, the 3 town centre estates that we're actually running it on. But there's a lots more capacity available. And we can see what people are accessing, what sort of traffic is coming over, how much they're using, what times of day they're using it. And we can see, what the popular websites are, which is all the obvious ones like YouTube and social media at the minute. And obviously the wonders of wireless, from a subscription-based wireless radio through to television and the internet. I've used this as a personal example for where we live. Is Perry's Wireless Relay. Used to be in Littleborough, where you rented your Wi-Fi wireless equipment from Rediffusion, as it was, or the British Relay Company, I think it was called. that one, and then we've got home mast transmitter all the way over in Yorkshire. There's been all sorts. There's been like the original mesh with the rabbit phone network. We've had mobile phones, 5G mast going up all over the show now, which is using the same technology, and civic internet access. Typical device breakdown. What we've got a lot of smart TVs, Fire Sticks, Chromecasts, things like that, games consoles, laptops, desktops, and mobile phones. Wireless was and still is quite a revolutionary technology. It's voices and information traveling over the ether is still borderline witchcraft to a lot of people. And it really was revolutionary that you could, receive these signals without a cable and things like that. So, but not all signals are created equal. We've got a lot of things like reflection, absorption, interference, and small aerials and things like that. And I don't know if people remember wiggling your aerial about to get a better TV signal. So we need to make bigger ripples, because obviously on a mobile phone you've got a very small antenna. And also, a lot of people have power saving on, which turns the power down to that antenna and things like that. So the best way to make a bigger ripple is to use a Wi-Fi extender. So a Wi-Fi extender will then connect to the network outside, and then you've got a stronger connection inside your property. To me, that's the same as like just buying a wireless radio, with a big aerial on, as opposed to a little sort of transistor radio, or if anybody remembers, like the little transistor radios you could get on a watch, which were really rubbish at picking up signal. So extenders extend. So it gives users some control. You can actually create your own network with an extender inside your house and put certain rules on there that it can only be used at certain times, password protect it, so on and so on. It gives greater indoor coverage. You can put multiple extenders in a premises. If you have a big premises, you can have a daisy chain of extenders, which does slow down performance, but it does mean that if you have got a bigger premises, that you will reach all parts of that premises. And extenders are inexpensive. The average kind of cost of a good extender is around about £25. We also recommend people use a signal mapper, so knowing where to plug in your extender, because a lot of people have a habit of saying, "Oh, I'll plug it near my computer or near my device, and therefore it'll be better." But essentially, you need to plug it where it accesses the Wi-Fi signal and then extends into your premises. So we use the Wi-Fi signal mapper. Wi-Fi Man, it's called, from same again from Unify, and it's really, really good for just searching what signals you've got. And it also has an augmented reality feature where you can actually see, if you plug your access point in where it's green, you've got a really good strong Wi-Fi signal, and then it will extend out. And you can then test that with your Wi-Fi mapper as well to see whereabouts in your property it's covering. So we've got extensible ambitions. At the moment, we're on College Bank, Lower Fairlinge and Freehold, which are 3 social housing areas of central Rochdale, and we're planning to extend over to an area, Small Bridge, which is another social housing project just outside the centre of Rochdale. In terms of security, we've got device isolation turned on, and it's on all the public networks that we've got there. We've got basic workplace firewall rules, so the same as what you'd have at work, to do with the sites that you can access. We didn't want to get down to a granular level, like blocking certain sites and so on and so on. So we just made sure no adult content and things like that can be accessed. Excuse me. And also, this is also a link into Rochdale's Council facilitating paths to digital and web literacy as well. So there's a lot of training available, and the Rochdale have a digital tech library where they do lend out a lot of equipment, a hell of a lot of equipment lately, to a lot of people in the community that are all otherwise on the wrong side of the digital divide. I know I'm preaching to the converted, but the internet is a vital utility. We've just seen with the pandemic, it feeds us access to services, online banking, education, and so on and so on and so on. And the list is literally endless. I know, like I said, I'm preaching to the choir, but it's important for us to remember why we're doing this. So we've also set up a website, the rochdalemesh.co.uk, so people get in touch with us and ask questions, leave information about any outages that there are, and it just explains to people what we do.